Hello YouTubers, welcome to GTA5 and this is the Docks to Stocks mission. This is a pretty straightforward mission. There's a couple of tricks to it, as I mentioned in my previous video. I probably did a year ago now, but I'm just going to walk you through on how to do this. For you guys that have actually purchased a cargo bob, you don't actually need to steal one from the military base, but you still need to actually get into one, right? So unfortunately you still have to come here and get into one and jump out. So what I'd recommend if you own a cargo bob is just fly here with the buzzard, jump into the cargo bob, jump out, and then fly back. That's probably the easiest way, but I'm going to do this video with the intention or understanding that most of you probably don't have a cargo bob. So this is how I would do it, right? So I'd jump, as you saw, I came into the bridge, I jumped over the fence, whichever way you want to get into the military base is fine, but that's the way I'd do it. I'd come down here. Now there's a couple of cargo bobs on the left here. I just ignore those generally, and I just go to the one down at the end here. There's a couple of cargo bobs here and a couple of buzzards. So just jump into a cargo bob here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to land as soon as possible. And the reason I do that is so that the actual the police helicopters don't chase you, right? So if you're actually by yourself or you're just doing this by yourself, then they kind of hound you and chase you and shoot at you. So normally what I do is I just jump into the cargo bob, fly over this fence here, and then I run up the hill. So I do actually run into some issues today with this, but generally it's fine. Generally you lose the 5 stars and then you come down, you grab the cargo bob. The reason you want to do this is you take less damage to your cargo bob. Generally you can fly all the way there, and if somebody's in the buzzard, they can shoot down the helicopters. I mean, that's how you typically would play it, but I generally do it by myself, or I find it just easier to lose the military or the cops this way. Plus, you know, I take less damage to the cargo bob, right? So as you can see, generally when I lost the stars there, they don't chase me, but in this case, for whatever reason, they were chasing me. There was one guy running around there that, even though I had no stars, he was still running towards me, so he still knew I was there for some reason. So this mission is a little glitched from this perspective, and it gets a little worse when we get near the container, but I'll talk a little bit about that later. But yeah, just kind of get rid of the cops, and once you've done that, and just run back down to the cargo bob, and we can actually just fly there, right? So when we get to the container, the most important part there is, as you can see, we have this yellow check mark that we're going to fly towards and get there. Now, if you start shooting before the check mark turns to a green check mark, then the cops will chase you and hound you, and you won't be able to get rid of them. You may or may not, but you'll probably spend half an hour trying to get rid of these cops, and even if you get rid of them and you come back, you get cops stars again, right? So this is kind of a trick with this mission, is you want to sort of land somewhere if you're by yourself, or if you play, you tell the other person you're playing with not to shoot until the check mark turns green. Otherwise, you may as well just restart the mission, right? So very important. That's probably the most important piece of advice I can give you, right? So land the helicopter, land the cargo bob. The other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to sneak up on the left. There's one NPC just to the right here that you don't want to actually alert him, because if you alert him, guess what? You're going to probably start shooting at him, or he's going to shoot at you, and you haven't set up the yellow check mark, and it's going to just ruin the mission, right? So just kind of keep to the left here. You'll see I'm just going to try and sneak up on the left here. And then once the check mark turns green, then you can just go ahead and start shooting. That's not a big deal, right? Just don't shoot at this point where it's still yellow. For whatever reason, it's glitched or bugged or designed this way. I don't know what the deal is, but you know, as soon as you start shooting before that, you reach the yellow check mark. So as you can see, I've just turned green. You know, it's green check mark. Now you can shoot, do whatever you want. But if you shoot before then, the cops are just all over you, and you can't get rid of them, right? And it just wrecks the whole mission, right? So that's probably the most important piece here, right? So you just sneak up on the left. You'll see there's a bunch of guys there that we're going to take out, and then I'll talk a little bit about the container. There's actually 2 places you can move the container. Just to my left here, we generally I move it there. I used to move it just by the 2 towers on the right there. Whatever you like, whatever's easiest for you. Generally, I just find it's easier for people to pick up the container on the left here, right? So, but the right's totally possible. I used to do that all the time. And you know, if somebody moves it, so depending where the person moves it, either side will depend where you're going to pick it up, obviously, right? So just take out these guys. There's only about 4 or 5 of them. There's not actually too many NPCs that you have to worry about. And then when you drop the container, you pick it up. Generally, no NPCs will show up, but when you drop it, then generally you'll have some NPCs. So I only had 1 car today, but you're probably going to have 2 or 3 cars as well show up afterwards, right? So just going to be with it. And other than that, it's pretty straightforward. In terms of the actual picking up the container, if you're struggling to do that, it's generally pretty easy. All you do is you take the crate lifter, you ride it to the container. You don't have to actually try and line it up. I mean, line it up as best you can, but don't go up and down because you'll actually destroy the crate container, the carrier or vehicle. And then I don't think there's actually another one. There might be another one somewhere, but just, you know, lift it up, put it down, hit your right D-pad button, and then it'll pick up the container. You lift it up and do the same thing. So just be as gentle as you can with that. I think most people are okay with that, but you know, I have destroyed that before, so you don't want to actually risk doing that. So otherwise, it's very simple, very easy to do, and you just drop off the container. As I mentioned, if you do want to drop it off on the left there, as I mentioned earlier, what you want to do is you want to move this Merryweather vehicle, but you also want to just take out this fence so you don't run into issues carrying the container. Just drop the fence with the car and then park it out the way, and then you can actually drive it through here. I think you can actually drive on the left, but it might be a little tedious as well, right? So this is how I would do it. So there you go, pretty straightforward. Easy to know if you understand the tricks to it, and you know, just watch out for that yellow and green marker, and then that shouldn't be a problem. You should take care of it. I hope you liked the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. Thank you very much.